Here's a 12 string with the bridge lifted, and when I went to put a feeler gauge underneath, this is like 10,000ths of an inch, I think. It's actually a spatula for lifting bridges. It's going quite far. This thing, it's surprising it didn't pop. I didn't heat this at all, and there's all signs that it wants to break free. So I'm going to continue with this. I have heating blankets that will work for this kind of thing too, but it's mostly off. As you saw by what just happened there. I'm going to take this to this side now, where again, some of these Japanese products in the past that I've seen, they were not glued on bare wood, they were glued on finished wood, which is very unusual. More likely to lift if that's the case. So I'm just lightly pushing and it's going through. That, a lot of it has gone through. Finish seams protected. It may just pop at some point. There's a felt under this one that when I push on this block, I could hit on this block or whatever too if I wanted to, but the felt will protect the finish. And I believe that, well, for the most part, that was that. I'm just going to see here, I'm going to put myself in front. Some are still holding on, but the rest is all glued onto finish. That tiny bit there, I'll try to maybe see if I can't scrape it off here and then re-glue it, and then it'd be a matter of kind of scraping away at the finish and trying to get this back in there glued as tight as possible. So, bridge removal right there. With a little bit of a heat from the heat gun, I was able to easily remove a piece of splintered up top, looks like a plywood top, that I will re-glue there, possibly with my Type Bond 3 glue. That'll be extremely strong. And then, well, that's all the chip out we had. And the glue will make it stronger than it ever was, really. And then I'm going to have to score around and lightly take away the finish. Put this in place. And that was basically all that was holding this whole bridge. So I'm going to put some Teflon down, and the Teflon will prevent the glue from attaching itself to this bar clamp, and the bar clamp is exactly the proper length for this, you can see proper length for this repair. That seems like it will be good. I just put some preservation polish by Stu-Mac on there. Oh boy, does this stuff ever work really well. Just rubbing it on, wiping it off. It has brought the red color right back to this guitar. But that's Stu-Mac's preservation polish. The bridge will be re-glued on this guitar. Now I've just taken some, pins. These are actually some kind of Teflon, I guess. They won't accept glue, so they're great for gluing. But you can see where this was glued onto finish. So what we're going to do is just put this back in and take a sharp X-Acto knife and just lightly trace around. Trying to be slightly under the bridge if I can. There we go. And this is a new sharp blade. And now I've got my outline all figured out, and we'll continue on from there. I'll either take a tiny chisel, maybe a scraper in a way. Mostly going to take sandpaper and try to get the bulk out, but of course the edges will need to be taken away with something sharper. I've got some of the finish taken off. I've scored around the edges, and I'm taking an extremely sharp chisel and just chipping away at some of this finish within the lines of the bridge. I got a clear sheet here to protect the finish. And just a matter of being extremely careful with the removal of the finish. Being careful not to score too deep. You just want to basically score the depth of the finish. Otherwise you're cutting into the fibers, and when you glue, the fibers will lift. So no cutting too deep with the X-Acto knife. So I've chiseled and sanded away with 120 grit paper the saddle, the bridge area of the guitar. So now, wood can be glued on wood. And so if you really kind of analyze the bridge, you'll see that some of it is sweeping up there. So the idea is just to kind of sand, not actually put it on a belt sander and sand it flat, because you still kind of want it to have the shape of the guitar, because the guitar is now bellied, and this bridge has kind of followed the shape of the guitar. So you kind of just want to take that finish off, and then it's a matter of we'll use these pins that glue doesn't attach itself to, and we'll clamp it down. When I position these clamps, I can feel the brace underneath, and right there where I'm at, I'm actually on the bridge plate. So that'll add for some strength from underneath. it's right near a brace. But the bridge plate will add to some strength there. That's where this will rest. I'll feel for that same spot. These pins will certainly help align it. Seems like everything is okay. Glue will undoubtedly find its way in there. We can take bridge pin reamers after and just smooth out the excess glue that might still be dried up in there. That seems as well lined up as it'll ever be. All the holes are perfection right there. Wipe off the excess glue. So I'll continue on with that. The bridge glued up well. At this point, I'll be kind of reaming a 3-degree hole to smooth out the hole for bridge pins. I've got a little mark on my bridge pin reamer, and testing the pin for tightness. So they're falling in just well right where the line is, so I'll continue on with that.
This is the final glued bridge. Glued up very well.